A spectacular day for afternoon baseball in Chicagoland as the Royals and White Sox get together. Sox concluding a very strong homestand. They're 4-1 so far. Thanks once again for joining us. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you, and we've talked about it for years. Jose Abreu has been the most consistent bat for the White Sox, and he keeps on going.
Jose Abreu has done something no White Sox player has ever done. That's the first 4 years of his White Sox life. He hit at least 20 home runs. So he had a pair of them last night as Jose continues his pursuit of 25 and 100, trying to hit 300. He's very close to that. And usually, although he's struggled since the All-Star break, he heats it up in the middle of August through September. There you see what happened last night against the Royals. He had a big night. His team came up a little short, but it wasn't without battling. And unfortunately, Melky's wearing a different uniform. Melky hit a 2-run homer. That turned out to be the game winner. At the time, the Sox had just taken the lead, but Melky rained on the parade, and there you see what he's done since becoming a Royal. Only hitting .314, but the big number, 13 driven in 13 games, slugging percentage over .600. We knew Melky was a good player. It's strange to see him in a different uniform, but such is the lot of this year for the Sox.
The Royals really struggled at the beginning of this season. They were 7-16, but the guy who helped keep them afloat is the guy on the mound today, Jason Vargas.
Jason Vargas is having a very good year. However, he's never thrown the ball very well against our Sox. He is a soft tosser. He's going to depend on at least 37% changeup, sometimes a little bit more depending on how he feels. And he'll try to throw that fastball in on the left-handers. So he's been good, but lately he's been struggling. Career against our Sox, an ERA up close to 6 and a 2-3 record. Derek Holland on the other side of the page against the Royals, he's been good, 3-1 with an ERA of 3.91. So it's a battle of left-handers. Both of them use some soft stuff to try to get these people out. Let's see if they can do it today, and hopefully no 7 walks for Derek Holland.
That's his hope. Kansas City hasn't walked 7 times in a game all year, so that's the guess as well. Royals and White Sox. First pitch coming up. White Sox baseball is brought to you by your Chicago and Northwest Indiana Hyundai dealers. Stop by today or visit buyhyundai.com and see why at Hyundai, better drives us. State Farm, here to help protect the things you've worked really hard for with home and auto insurance. Meyer, true Chicago fans. Ford, inviting you to visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com. Xfinity, Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Illinois. Choose Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Illinois, the card to carry through it all. And by Honda. Great deals are waiting for you now at your local Honda dealer. Earlier in the series, we saw Reynaldo Lopez make his first White Sox start. We've seen Yoan Moncada now for about a month up in the major leagues. And I talked to Sox general manager Rick Hahn about Moncada and some of his talents on the field.
I mean, it was nice to see that pure athleticism take over, and a little bit even of baseball instinct too. But I think on the play he backhanded and cocked his wrist and flipped on. I mean, that's you can't teach that. That's instinctual, and having the athletic ability to be able to convert on something like that. That's part of his tool chest. Not going to lie to you, I probably get a little bit more excited when I see how he's changed his arm slot on the exchange on a double play to get it with less tail on the throw and more accuracy and a little something more behind it, which is a specific mechanical improvement that Mark Grudzielanek and Vance Law and our instructors at the minor league level worked on with Yoan.
Steve, I know you've been watching as the Sox refine this talent that comes up to the major leagues. That's what we're basically looking at for the next couple months, right?
There is no doubt that these young players are developing right before our eyes. The question is how quickly they're going to develop. Some are here, most of them are in the minor leagues, but they're teaching them things that are going to be useful here. For instance, Adam Engel changed his bat position, which was something he probably had to do, and along with Trick, I would assume that they're going with each and every one of these young players to fill in the gaps in their knowledge. A lot of them got here very quickly. They don't have that great background of what to do in certain situations. That's why this is a learning experience. That's why we're going to see more. We're going to see some mistakes. It's going to be frustrating, but hopefully they only make them once.
It's been a great homestand. 4-1 so far. Sox trying to get to 5-1 on this home stretch before heading to LA. First pitch coming up right after this. By Xfinity, changing the way you watch sports on TV. Kansas City back to 500. Here's the lineup for Ned Yost. And it goes like this. Whit Merrifield at the top of the card again. Then Kane and Hosmer and Melky and Moustakas. Bonifacio's first start. Cuthbert second. And Butera 3 straight games behind the plate.
Let's take a look at the defense and how they'll line up behind Derek Holland. It's the outfield of Garcia, Engel, and Garcia, along with Tyler, Tim, Yoan, and Jose in the infield. And Kevin Smith gets a nod behind the plate. Derek Holland to the hill. There you see his numbers so far. Looking for win number 7. His ERA up there at 5 1/4. Opponent's batting average at .278. He said that he is going to try to get the pitches in the strike zone after 7 walks. So we're ready to play baseball, which means it's time for the irrepressible Jason Benetti to take it away.
Seems like that nickname has stuck. Thank you, Stoney.
Irascible would be good.
They all fit. First pitch from Derek Holland is hit by Whit Merrifield into center field. Let's see the arsenal for Mr. Holland. 30-year-old left-hander. 4-seam fastball more than anything, than the curve, sinker, slider. The changeup only 7.5% this year.
The only problem with, and Derek Holland is a veteran pitcher, so he's been around, he understands what he's doing, but when you proclaim in the paper that you are going to keep the ball in the strike zone and try to completely limit your walks, you'll find a lot of guys swinging early in the count thinking that Derek is going to try to get ahead. You can make that work for you by making really good pitches on the first pitch. Sometimes it's a problem.
There's another first pitch swing, this one from Lorenzo Cain.
Again, the self-professed I'm going to get the ball over alerts the other team that they better be swinging early.
But what if it's a clever ruse?
To walk 7?
A not so clever ruse. He's been in the zone so far. 2 pitches deep. 3 swings now on 3 pitches for Kansas City. They evidently have a subscription to the newspaper.
The crew chief, Joe West, has the plate. Rob Drake, Hunter Wendelstedt, and Alan Porter, first to third.
Two strikes on Cain, who's 0 for 7 in the series with 5 strikeouts. Ball and 2 strikes on Cain. And by the way, this Kansas City team has walked the least in Major League Baseball all year, so they're a free swinging team anyway.
Yeah, it's probably one of the reasons for the good matchup.
There's strike 3 on the inside half, and Cain punches out looking 2 down.
That one was a bit debatable, and Lorenzo Cain didn't like the call. Very few guys like to be called out on strikes. And so called out he is. As Joe West rings him up.
How many guys have you met that like to be called out on strikes?
Well, it really depends on the strikes.
Does it?
Yeah.
Oh.
If you're bowling, not such a bad thing.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. See how I shifted?
That's a different sport. First pitch is ball 1 to Eric Hosmer. Royals have started with a fly ball to center and a strikeout looking. Kansas City 5 games out in the Central after Cleveland won yesterday. Minnesota is in between, a half game ahead of Kansas City. In second place. Up the middle, base hit for Hosmer.
Hosmer came in hitting 400 against Derek Holland, and when you've got a guy's number like that, you seem to find a hole. You make contact and the ball just goes in places where there are no defenders, and that has been the case with Hosmer career-wise against Derek Holland, and it continues here this afternoon.
Here's the guy who, as they say in professional wrestling, turned heel last night, Melky Cabrera.
You could say he was biting the hand that once fed him. However, he's played with so many teams, it's a lot of biting.
Yeah, they'd have a muzzle. Ball number 1 to Melky. An interesting note after the game. Melky Cabrera, when he was up at the plate, is the other day, as the ball gets away and Hosmer to second base. Melky was up at the plate the other day, and Kevin Smith asked him, "Do you miss us?" And Melky said, "Each and every one of you."
Yeah, I mean, he had a wonderful time here, and he was here for a little over 2.5 years. Made a lot of friends. Was great in the clubhouse. And that's one of the things they've said about Melky wherever he's gone. They really loved him in Kansas City. He had a big year in 2011, as did the Royals, and Melky was a big part of it. So they were very happy to welcome him back.
He's ahead 2-0. Hosmer at second, and Holland dumps in a strike.
Like to be careful with Melky here, because Moustakas just 1 for 7 against Holland lifetime, and he has a lefty-lefty advantage.
Three and 1 to Cabrera. Royals as a team are 249 against left-handers. That's 17th out of 30 in Major League Baseball. Three and 2.
Good slow hook. He drops it over. That is a pitch you will make when you got first base open. You don't really mind if you walk a quality hitter like Melky, because you got the lefty advantage coming up next. To third base, Saladino knocks it down and can't recover.
So runners at the corners and 2 down for Moustakas.
It's going to be E5, and Tyler probably had a couple of choices, and he got caught in between. He could have come and tried aggressively to move in and smother this. He could have given a couple of steps moving backward, knowing that Melky swinging from the right side isn't a burner going up the line, but instead he kept his ground and got an awkward hop and then couldn't get him.
Sox first error of the series leaves the inning to Moustakas.
There's Melky and Jose renewing acquaintances. Of course, Melky's hard to forget. Little Melky goes a long way.
First one from Holland to Moustakas is ball 1.
What a year he's having. A great year to have a great year. He, like a few other of his teammates, is going to be a free agent at the end of this year.
And 34 home runs in your free agent year is a good time. As we remind you, the 2017 Chicago White Sox are presented by Guaranteed Rate. Thinking about buying a home? Visit rate.com to find a low mortgage rate and a fast, easy process.
And I would urge all of you watching today to tune in the Dodgers series. You're going to see our Jason Benetti and Aaron Rowan doing the play-by-play and the analysis against the Dodgers for a couple of games.
To first base, Abreu. And the Royals strand 2 in this homestand finale. Sox will come to bat after this against Jason Vargas, the left-hander. Runs on Duncan. Tim Anderson 3 hits in the series. Then Saladino, Abreu, Garcia. Delmonico with a White Sox record on base 11 straight. Smith, Moncada, Garcia, and Engel.
Take a look at the defense, and it is a good defense behind Jason Vargas. It's Melky, Lorenzo, and Jorge in the outfield with Cuthbert, Escobar, Merrifield, and Hosmer in the infield. Drew Butera for the 3rd game in a row behind the plate. And Jason Vargas on the hill. Last time out, had a real tough start. In fact, since the All-Star break, things haven't gone great for him, but this is his 23rd start, and overall he's been very good this year.
Seen the Sox a bunch. Outing number 4 against the Sox, and he is a noted changeup aficionado. Jason Vargas.
He's going to throw just under 40% changeups, and when it's good, it will sink and die away from the right-hand hitters. They'll roll over it. Normally, the left side is busy in the infield.
Fastball, curveball, changeup, essentially for Vargas. There you see it. Curveball right around 20%, and not much in the way of a straight fastball either. Tim flips it in the air, first base side, and Eric Hosmer. Foul ground for round number 1. As we tell you about our picks to click today, visit whitesox.com/picks as the crew has expanded the lead to 4, going with Kevin Smith today. Steve has the only Sox player to make an out so far. Good start. And I'll take Delmonico. Fans have Engel. I got a really dirty look for that, by the way.
That's what's happened too much. I make my selection, and before we even announce it, I'm 0 for 1.
Here would be a quick piece of advice for the suggestion box. Pick somebody lower in the lineup card if you don't want that to happen.
Well, it would be cause for celebration if they did get up in the first inning, however.
It's true.
Yeah.
But then you would have wanted one of the guys to get you there from the top of the lineup. Ball and a strike on Saladino, who didn't play yesterday, and looking for his first hit against Vargas.
Outfield straight away, as is the infield, with Melky well off the line in left.
Steve, this White Sox team has just been outstanding as a group against left-handed pitchers this year at .279. 5th best batting average against lefties in Major League Baseball. Saladino to right field, and Bonifacio. Head to the park for $1 hot dogs every Wednesday. Home game through the rest of the season. Take advantage of this unbeatable deal August 23rd. Sox take on the Twins, 7:10 p.m. Purchase tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
Jason Vargas started his professional career back in 2004, so he's been around a long time. Originally making it to the major leagues with then the Florida Marlins.
He was drafted 1 pick after Kurt Suzuki, the longtime catcher.
Suzuki still is a quality catcher. And one of those guys, and there's a few, along with Ryan Rayburn and a few others, that have really torched Sox pitching over the course of their careers.
Guy that was drafted 3 selections before Vargas, Dustin Pedroia, just placed on the DL by the Red Sox.
Again, he's had more leg issues.
Jose on the ground. Escobar's got a long way to go off the whirl and throw. He just does nip him for a 1-2-3 inning for Jason Vargas. No score after 1 today. The Royals threatened with 2 out, but couldn't put a run on the board. And so this beautiful day continues forward into the 2nd inning with Derek Holland against 24-year-old Jorge Bonifacio.
Bonifacio can put a charge into him. We saw that in Kansas City. This is his first action of this series. But the young man can hit it deep.
He's the guy that ends up losing some playing time with Melky Cabrera's addition.
Yeah, but Melky, who had played in 13 games since donning that Royal uniform for the second time, has driven in 13 runs in the 13 games.
Can't really take that out of the lineup.
No.
Ball and a strike. We showed you in his last start that Derek Holland pitches inside as a left-hander to righty batters more than anybody else in Major League Baseball.
And hitters certainly know that. It's not like he's just coming to the major leagues for the first time. So a whole lot of hitters know his tendencies to go inside, but for whatever reason, they can't seem to keep him out of there all that often. Where he's gotten hurt, and that's Derek this year, is on a lot of rolling curveballs instead of that usual sharp break.
Hit in the air left side. Leury Garcia has the play, and there's out number 1.
Time for the Ryan Kelly home field facts. Derek Holland's last 2 victories have come here at Guaranteed Rate Field. He defeated Baltimore on June 13th, won his previous start here last Tuesday against the Astros. He likes pitching here at home, and home field facts brought to you by Ryan Kelly, the homeloanexpert.com.
That was an even more impressive performance considering he gave up 3 runs in the second inning, and after that, nothing else.
No, you're not going to be able to pitch around 7 walks too often. That's what he did last time. That's why he realizes that, especially early in the count, you have to be a lot more aggressive.
Ball and a strike on Cheslor Cuthbert in his 100th at bat of the season. It's 21 for 99, 212. Cuthbert out of tiny Corn Island, Nicaragua.
I played with one of the best Nicaraguan players ever, Dennis Martinez. They called him El Presidente. 245 major league wins from a relatively slim right-handed starter that came up with the Baltimore organization, and very popular in his home country. Was a terrific pitcher.
Part of those Expos teams that never either had it go right at the end of the season or never had a season to go right with at the end.
No, they certainly would have loved, and the White Sox were in that category. They would have loved to play 1994 out to its conclusion, because there were some really good baseball teams that might have made a wildly entertaining World Series.
Holland walks Cuthbert with 1 out here in the second. Royals first base coach Rusty Kuntz has a history in the White Sox organization. In fact, 1981. Here's a look. Rusty could play it a little bit in left as well, tracking down a long fly ball. In 1979, he was a AAA player with Steve Trout, Art Kushner, Britt Burns, Lamar Hoyt, Harold Baines, and Bears quarterback Bobby Douglas was there as well. Notably, the manager of that 1979 team in AAA was Greg Sparks' dad, Joe. Greg, the assistant hitting coach for the White Sox right now.
I've known Joe for many years. He was a terrific manager, a great evaluator of just the game of baseball, and obviously the people who participate in it, but lifetime baseball man.
Through the left side, Escobar, a base hit, and 2 on with 1 out. By the way, what we didn't show you is the 1979 team and their full record. They were 69 and 67, just 2 games over, but I don't think that's the vivid memory that Harold Baines takes with him through baseball lore in his mind. He did a lot of other things along with all the rest of those players. It's funny when you look back at some minor league teams, all the talent they had, and you think, boy, they should have been really good. Yeah, that's not the way it works in the minors.
Not too often, because most times you obviously want to win, but winning and losing takes a back seat to developing your young players.
Both Atlanta and the Sox are 1-2 based on any list that you look at, pretty much, in terms of best prospect haul, deepest farm system in Major League Baseball right now. And the Sox and Braves overall have two of the worst records in the farm system for the season. But that has literally really nothing to do with the amount of talent down there.
You'd eventually like to see these guys learn how to win together, but that is not the single primary motivating factor. It's moving these guys along, getting them to the next level.
Left side again, base knock. Butera to the pull side, and the bases are loaded for the top of the order in Merrifield. And now the ball gets away, and here comes a run. Cuthbert scores. It's 1-0 Kansas City.
And although Derek Holland was backing up when that ball got away, and it goes E7. Seemingly this one should have been knocked down. There was no way for an advancement. It was going to be bases loaded. And that throw should have never been made. First of all, you airmail the cutoff man. That's one thing. Second of all,
why go there?
Cuthbert is not trying to score. He's standing at third base. Just get the ball back in nicely, and unfortunately it cost a run.
And it compounds by costing you a double play possibility.
Yeah, that was a throw they might term ill-advised.
Merrifield takes a called strike, 1-1.
Merrifield realizes that a ground ball to the middle infield anywhere is most likely going to score the run.
Escobar at third, Butera at second, and Holland wheels towards second base.
One of the things, and I think that Rick and his staff are going to do this with the team, probably starting next year. One of the best pickoff plays you can always make is trying to get the trailer. You got first and second, you try to pick off the man at first. Second and third, you go after the man at second. Sometimes you get them not quite concentrating as much as they would if they were the lead runner.
With that pitch, Moncada was sneaking behind Butera.
Yeah, another one that if you are looking, then you step off the mound because your second baseman has pulled himself out of position and nobody was home on the right side.
Along with a left side that has a pretty big hole as well between short and the second base bag. 1-2 on Merrifield. Strike three called, 2 down in the inning.
We'll take another look. Kevin does not move it to his right. He pretty much thought it had a piece of the plate. And the important guy, Joe West, thought the same thing.
Joe got himself in a little trouble with some comments about Adrian Beltre.
Yes, he did.
But he also got some support from the baseball community in terms of what he said not being worthy of a suspension. One of the great characters in baseball. You certainly can't take that away from him.
No, and not only that, but endurance. He's been around a long time, called a lot of games.
Ball fades inside, 2-0 for Kane.
Not the best idea to pitch around Kane to get to a guy that's hitting in excess of 400 against you, and that's Hosmer, who did have a hit with 2 outs, nobody on last inning. Kane
Kane smokes it to left field. Escobar and Butera score, and the Royals lead 3-0.
Looked like an off-speed pitch that Lorenzo Cain went out and got. He's now driven in 38 runs, which is still a very low total for a guy who's been a quality hitter his whole career.
Well, Derek Holland had great success with his changeup first couple of months of this season. Then in June and July, the opposition started to really square it up, and in his last start, he didn't throw many at all. Hosmer takes a strike. Here's a look at those numbers against Holland's changeup. Slugging percentage, .333 April, .211 only in May, and then a significant increase as of June and July. Is it opponent study? Is it location? What's your hypothesis there?
Oh, I think you go into a situation where you just lose your release point. Like any other pitch, like either a hanging curveball, where you're not getting the feeling for it because the changeup is very much a touch pitch. Sometimes you lose that touch.
Fastball strike on Hosmer, 1-2. As we mentioned, you see the shift for Hosmer. As we mentioned, Holland in his last start gave up 3 runs in the second inning and came back to get a win. It's against Houston. Alex Bregman got him for a bases clearing triple in that second inning with 2 out, but no runs after that, despite the 7 walks. One, two. Good speed at first with Cain. And now he takes off. Smith's throw is high, and Lorenzo Cain into second base.
That would appear to be a wild pitch, but we'll wait for the scoring. And it is a wild pitch, as Kevin could not corral it. Cain sees it bound away and realizes with that speed they're not going to get him.
Three balls, 2 strikes. Cain's off, and this is ball 4 to throw to third. Cain is safe at third. Now he's off the bag and he's out. Alan Porter stayed with it, and Cain is out at third.
They're going to most likely take another look at it, and Porter says he was safe at first. So he got in before the tag, and then Allen is saying that he did come off the bag.
But was the tag down when he came off the bag is the question.
Okay, so he gets there, and then, well, he is on top of the bag and has not, at least to that view, has not lifted his leg.
I think he's going to end up being safe, don't you?
Looks to me like he is safe. I was waiting for some part to pop off the bag, but didn't see it.
He may have at some point, but the glove wasn't on when that happened.
So the ruling is that he was out.
So they're going to need indisputable video evidence to overturn the call of out. That's the starting point. We'll see what New York has to offer. There may have been a point where he came off the bat.
If that's the case, inning over.
Well, but the glove wasn't on at the time, is what I, yeah. Well, Kansas City trying to build on an inning that already has 3 runs across. Royals coming into play today, a game back of the second wild card, saves the call, so they'll reverse it. Kane with a stolen base, it's number 22, and the Royals have runners at first and third for Melky Cabrera.
And that'll bring Don Cooper out to the mound to talk with Derek Holland. Well, the one thing we've noticed in this homestand especially, it wasn't as prominent in Boston, although there were a couple of very well played and very tight games. There is no doubt that the Sox in this rebuilding year are an undermanned team at this point. However, as we've seen recently, they're exciting to watch. There's been some really entertaining times in the games that we've done, not only in this homestand, but before in Boston. There were some very well played games. But the team is an exciting team and gives you a thought of moving forward. It's going to get more exciting as the wins start to creep up.
Just a flicker of the future the last couple of days as Melky Cabrera bats this one into center field and drives in a run. Kane scores, Hosmer is second. Royals with 4 in the inning.
70 driven in for Melky. And he continues his 1 run driven in for every game played. That's 14 as a Royal, and this is his 14th game.
You lay in a strike after a meeting from the pitching coach, and Melky will be on it. 9th batter of the inning, Mike Moustakas. In there for a strike. Moustakas wanted a fastball and didn't get it. Walk, single, single. Single, walk, single. The base runners this inning. It's not 1,000 paper cuts, but it's certainly enough.
When the Royals do string together offense, it's usually not a quick strike offense. It's usually more like what we're seeing in this inning. Mix in a walk occasionally with a lot of singles. Except from the man who's hitting now. He was very close and will go by the all-time Royal record for home runs.
It's just a couple away of Steve Balboni for the all-time Kansas City single season record. Moustakas to first. Abreu knocks it down and takes it to first. Moustakas is grounded over there twice. The Royals get 4 in the inning. Bottom 2 next. Sox, if you heard a couple of loud thuds last night emanating from maybe the southeast, it was Eloy Jimenez with Winston-Salem going deep again, and just the power on display one more time. This is the first one to just left of center. Look out, carousel. And then the second one right here is a demolition.
This one's going over the bar and gone.
Just on the periphery of those, you would say power's not his problem.
That would be the suggestion. Yeah, I mean, again, when the Cubs were in here, it was very clear that they were very happy to have Jose Quintana, but you know, the feeling is they're not going to be terribly thrilled. And they know it's coming, that the possible 40 home run potential for Eloy Jimenez is there.
Well, here's an example of how each and every negotiation you have with every one of your players will come into play later on, whether you sign a really good contract or a bad contract. It all comes into play as you move along in a player's career. There is no way in the world the Sox get Jimenez from the Cubs without a controllable Jose Quintana. And that long-term deal, very team-friendly to one of the really quality Major League starting pitchers, that allowed a little more coming back this way.
Vargas a strikeout down low. First strikeout for Vargas today.
So the same thing can be said with Chris Sale. That was also a very good contract, very team friendly. Boston now controls Chris. Again, you don't get that type of a haul in a deal. Not that you wouldn't get a lot for Chris Sale anyway, but the fact that they can keep him around for a while increase the return coming back. So with those two deals and the players coming back to the Sox, not 100%, but a great portion of it were good contracts when they were originally signed that came into play later on.
Here's Delmonico. Joe West in between pitches there, cleaned off the plate, and that's something nobody ever talks about. If you had a robotic strike zone, who would clean the plate?
The robot.
With a little vacuum attached to the robot. That one hit Delmonico. So Nicky is on for his 12th straight game to start his White Sox career. A franchise record continues to move.
It's pretty impressive, and this is probably, if you're going to get hit, this is the way you want to get hit. You want it to just brush by the uniform. There was no body involved. It was all jersey.
Well, there was one person involved. It was Vargas. Yeah. Better for everybody.
Yikes. Is that, did we have that promo today, by the way?
I don't know. Do we?
Well, you just did it, so we're in good shape.
It's Kevin Smith. Cross off that Atletico promo. Ball one to Kevin. Delmonico at first. Sox trying to bounce back from the 4-run inning for Kansas City, and you're not going to see many fastballs from Vargas today, under half the time.
You just have to wait back, because at least twice, sometimes more, but at least twice in every at bat, he's going to go off speed, either a slow breaking ball or more likely that straight change, which is very good and something that has made him into a winning pitcher.
1-1 is down low. Two balls and a strike. Smith elevates it foul right side. 2-2 to Kevin. Moncada batting 7th today, in part because he has been better from the left-hand side than from the right-hand side so far in his major league career. Two and two from Vargas. And a throw to first. Jason Vargas, been around so long, he was a Florida Marlin. That joke gains more weight as the years go by.
2004, he started his professional career and made it to the major leagues in 2005. 5-5 that year as a very young pitcher.
Drew Butera has had a very nice series behind the plate, and that's not unexpected, but it always shows.
And the question will be, for a guy who's been a perennial backup and a good one, because he's getting a whole lot more play, they don't exactly know when Salvi Perez is coming back, and the games played load is going to fall on Butera.
To shortstop, past Escobar, and ate him alive, and Delmonico to second base.
You would think that would be a base hit, and it is. A one-hop rocket, and Escobar decided to play that one like El Cordobas. Noted bullfighter. Perennially would use Olay and move to the side.
That's the way to deal with bulls.
Not so much on one-hop ground balls. However, if you make the catch, it's pretty easy double play.
Do you ever have any interest in going to Pamplona?
To run with the Bulldogs?
The Bulls.
Oh, no, not the Bulls.
Bulldogs might be a little easier. You just step over them when they try to nip at your heels. One ball to Moncada. Delmonico at second, Smith at first. After the first four were retired by the 34-year-old Jason Vargas. Sox will be on the road in Los Angeles Tuesday and Wednesday to face the Dodgers, who are 82-34.
That's without Clayton Kershaw.
Sox are scheduled to face Yu Darvish during the series.
That's just a strong Dodger team, top to bottom.
Off speed, 2-2. And if you look at the National League West, you have essentially three teams that would be in first place in quite a few divisions, but Arizona and Colorado are 17 off.
Well, it certainly would behoove whoever wants to come out of the Central in the National League to win the division. So I don't think they're going to win a wild card.
Called strike three, Vargas with a strikeout of Yoan Moncada. Two out for Garcia. That's second strikeout for Vargas today. Moncada yesterday 0 for 4, 4 strikeouts. His final at bat in the opener was a single to left. Garcia floats this short center field. Escobar's back, and Escobar is there. What a play by Escobar, the Royals shortstop. He was the only guy that had a shot at it, and he makes a beauty. 4-0. 4-0 after 2 innings today. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone along with you and our entire crew at Guaranteed Rate Field. As Derek Holland pumps in a strike to Jorge Bonifacio, leading off the third as he did the second inning. Royals had 9 batters come up in the 4th inning. That has Holland now at 50 pitches. So a 32 pitch second inning for Derek. Ball and 2 strikes from Holland to Bonifacio. His brother Emilio, a longtime major leaguer. Jorge making his debut this season for Kansas City. Emilio debuted back in 2007.
Jorge's got some size on Emilio. Emilio was a good player.
11 years in the majors.
Yeah, very versatile. Play a lot of places and swung the bat well.
Did play a lot of places.
He did.
Both on the field and on different fields.
No doubt.
Three and 2. Jorge Bonifacio tags this ball deep to left field, and it is gone. Into the bullpen it goes. Bonifacio with a home run, his second against Holland, and it's 5-0.
We told you that this young man has some strength, and he showed it to you there. That's his 15th homer, driven in 34. As the Royals with a little more distance between themselves and our Sox. We'll watch it again. It's a fastball up in the zone, and Bonifacio takes it out, and takes it out by plenty.
Derek less than pleased with the result as Cuthbert takes a strike. It's the first extra base hit today for Kansas City. Found away, still 0-2. The Royals will get on the plane after this game, and they play tomorrow in Oakland. So off to the West Coast for everybody. Sox with the off day tomorrow. Kansas City not afforded that luxury. Then the Royals after that have 9 of 12 at home. 6 in that 12-game span against Cleveland. They go a long way deciding the Central. Four in September as well against the Indians for Kansas City. Into left it goes. Garcia can't get there. It bounces by him. Cuthbert quickly into second base.
Line drive, sinking line drive, and Leary takes a bad route. Couldn't get to it. By the time he realized it was to his left, it was by him.
See, that goes as a double, and typically if you don't touch the ball you're not going to get charged with an error, but with all the new information we have about routes to the ball and things like that, I would think you'd be in favor of, as a former pitcher, that going as a hit and an error.
I would just prefer straight error, but sure, if you got to take a hit and an error, sure, no problem.
There's a swing and a miss by Escobar, strike 1. But the point being, I think there is some errors left on the table sometimes based on just how the game is typically officially scored. That's not anything against any one specific official scorer in any way. We see it across the board in Major League Baseball.
No, and I think you're going to see a team error here in the next few years. But so far that is not the case, and hasn't been as Mike Pelfrey starts to loosen up.
Two strikes to Escobar. Throw to second. Moncada can't get the throw, but it's too hard to allow Cuthbert to go to third.
Fortunately, Cuthbert did not pick up the flight of the baseball a little earlier. He doesn't have great speed, so it's not likely he'd have wound up at third base as this ball gets away. And Adam Engel quickly hustling to it.
Sox had 3 errors on the homestand in the first 5 games. 2 so far today. And that would have been a third with any advancement from Cuthbert. Pitch number 65 for Derek Holland today. Three balls, 2 strikes. Escobar with a check swing foul on what looked like it was going to be ball 4. And I think he knew it right as the swing started to reach the ball.
Would have been a historic walk. Would have put him in double figures for the first time. He's got 9 walks in 443 at bats.
Make it 10.
Chicagoland viewers, text Subway to 97999 right now, and the 300th texter is going to win a $30 gift card to a Subway restaurant in the Chicagoland area. Subway, so much sandwich. So the long, slow walk to the mound as Rick wants to give Mike Pelfrey a chance for a few more pitches. He has made the call. Derek Holland will depart. An early exit for him. Mike Pelfrey coming in. As he does, we'll step out. Be back after these messages. Shows you the injury report. It's Michael Brantley, a loss for the Indians this year. He'd come back with a vengeance. but a sprained right ankle put him on the shelf. The injury report is brought to you by Dr. Anthony Romeo, a proud member of Midwest Orthopedics at Rush. Go to RomeoOrthopedics.com or call 312-432-2342. And there you look at Mike Pelfrey on for the 22nd time. The overwhelming majority of those in a starting role, now working out of the bullpen.
Sox haven't had much of a long man in the bullpen this year.
He's as long as any of them.
Yeah, he's
6'7".
More about innings. First pitch for Pelfrey is there for a strike, and that injury report. Good news for baseball that wasn't something worse for Bryce Harper after what happened yesterday.
Boy, it looked
late
terrible.
Night.
It looked terrible for Harper. Went down grabbing his knee, writhing in pain. But it's just an owie.
Mike Rizzo, the general manager for the Nationals, says it's just a deep bone bruise. Harper going to first base and just stepping on the bag, takes a fall. That would have been the second major injury for the Nationals similarly this year, with Adam Eaton stopping the bag and needing surgery earlier this season.
And where he was a bit lucky, well, obviously lucky not to have torn up any of the ligaments in the knee, but when he landed on his left shoulder after the awkward step on the bag and the slide, and he could have easily have dislocated or perhaps broken something in the shoulder area. He got away with that also. So for the Nationals, they breathe a gigantic sigh of relief.
Butera to left field, and Garcia for out number 1. That was a game that lasted all the way until today, with a day-night doubleheader today at Nationals Park as well. They're underway in game number 1, but they have a second game to play, and the Nationals trailing the Giants 3-0 in the 7th this afternoon.
I think we will see a time, and again, I'm not going to tell you it's going to be next year, but I think we will see a time where things start to roll back a bit. And you're going to ask the teams from, let's say you happen to play in the Central, as we do. You're going to ask the teams from the West and East Division to come in twice. You're not going to exactly make it a balanced schedule, but it's going to be close to it. That way all the stars get to come and make 2 trips to your city.
And it also does help with rain situations. I mean, the Giants are not coming back to Washington, so you've got to force feed these games in. You end up staying for hours last night in order to get that game in, with the doubleheader coming today. But yeah, for the fans, I mean,
I think it makes sense.
It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, there's lots of people that would love to see Mike Trout, and if he's only coming to your city 1 series, if he takes a game off, or if he happens to be injured, you don't see him for a whole year. I think he make 2 trips in, and I think eventually we'll get to that.
We've been there.
I think we'll make the wild card a fairer situation, because most teams will be playing essentially the same teams.
It seems strange that we would go away from seeing everybody more when you've got an added playoff spot that is not constrained to a division or your record in the division. It's just your overall record. Now, if the wild card spots were based on divisional record, who has the best record in their own division, then maybe that's a different story, but that's not the case.
No.
And won't be.
It's overall record, and there are some teams on a yearly basis, depending on what division they play in, they're going to have a softer time in their division than, say, somebody in the American League East.
3 balls and 2 strikes on Merrifield. For example, I mean, Mike Trout and the Angels come in here in September this year. Say the kids are in school and you just can't make it down, whatever it might be. We'd love to have you, but that is a very strong argument for having the Angels come in twice, as Derek Holland thinks over a rough start today against Kansas City. Three and 2 on Merrifield from Pelfrey.
Mike took a long look at Cheslor Cuthbert at second base. He has yet to try a steal.
Three and two. Breaking ball fouled away. Couple of debuts in that Mets-Phillies series. Dominic Smith, one of the top prospects in the Mets system, making his debut. Rhys Hoskins is up now with Philadelphia, one of the better power hitters in the minor leagues this year, up from AAA. A lot of young talent coming up here in August and September. Another foul from Merrifield. The old lemonade on a beautiful day.
That's one of your faves.
Yeah, frankly, I'll eat anything. But yeah, lemonade is one of my favorites. Escobar at first, Cuthbert at second. And a 3-2 from Pelfrey. In the air, well hit by Merrifield. Deep to left center field, and Whit Merrifield goes deep for a 3-run home run and an 8-0 Kansas City lead.
th homer. 54 driven in. Mike tried to throw a sinker, and Merrifield didn't let it sink until it left the park.
One down for Kane, who takes ball number 1. Kansas City with 8 runs in the first 2 games of this series. 8 runs today in 2 1/3. Competition in the Central for Kansas City. Minnesota a half game up in second. Cleveland 5 games ahead of Kansas City, which is in 3rd place. Both those teams, Cleveland and Minnesota, are tied right now. The Indians top 7 with Tampa Bay, tied at 3, and Minnesota and Detroit deadlocked at 4 in the top of the 6th inning. It's at Comerica Park in Detroit. 3 balls and a strike on Kane. Well, the good news for the Sox bullpen is there's an off day tomorrow. And so Ricky Renteria, in terms of who he can use, the list is very long. Right side base hit for Kane. Commemorate a Hall of Fame White Sox star outfielder Tim Raines by purchasing a limited edition dual bobblehead. This unique keepsake includes action shots of Tim as a White Sox and Expos player. Rock bobbleheads, just $40 each and available while supplies last. Visit whitesox.com/rockbobble to get yours today. Those are nice. We had a couple on the prize shelf.
And they were shipped out pretty quickly.
Scooped up immediately.
Yeah, people like those.
Eric Hosmer on base twice thus far today. And strike number 1. So final line on Derek Holland: 2+, 7 hits, 7 runs, all earned. 3 walks, 2 strikeouts today. Shift still on for Hosmer, who hit the ball to the left side of second in the 1st inning. And if you're saying, well, if he's going to hit it there, why would you shift him? There are going to be outliers with every shift. And you kind of take the good with the bad. He went around.
Hosmer figures to be pulling a right-hand pitcher. Seeing as they brought in Pelfrey. You got Anderson on the first base side of second.
One, two. That's up high. This is the 90th pitch by a Sox hurler today. 3 balls, 2 strikes on a Hosmer. You were saying earlier you're going to be off for 2 days. One of your 2 series you take off during the year.
Yes.
And in your chair will be Aaron Rowan.
Yes, he will be.
For a couple of days in Los Angeles. That's ball 4. Hosmer to first, Kane to second. You and Hawk will be back together in Arlington for that 4-game series. So all 4 of us are very smartly avoiding the Los Angeles to Texas overnight flight.
Yeah, that's going to take a while. So Kevin out there to give his signals to the infield.
And Melky Cabrera, who's been on twice, once on an error, once on an RBI single.
This doesn't always hold true. But when 4 guys in your lineup are hitting for the 3rd time in 3 innings, it's not usually a good sign.
For the home 9, you're saying?
For whatever team is on the other side of the equation.
But you said it in our open today. I mean, when we talked early, even before the first pitch, that there are going to be moments when you're rebuilding that sting.
4-game winning streak. Club did a whole lot right. And even yesterday, they did a whole lot right. Base running was a little sketchy, but other than that, it was an exciting game. Just came up a little short.
And today, Ricky Renteria just kind of has to, as the baseball term goes, wear it. Melky slices it foul, 1 and 2. But that's all part of the deal, is just staying level.
And Mike Pelfrey knows that he's going to be out there for a while. So it would serve him well. Maybe get that ground ball that turns into 2.
"27 pitches already for Pelfrey to this his 5th batter." 1-2. Inside, 2 balls, 2 strikes. Two. Up high, and there's a foul ball. And Mike Pelfrey going to that upper part of the zone. Melky gets most of his hits, most of them middle to low, in and out of the zone.
He does that from both sides of the plate. It's normal that left-hand hitters will hit the low ball better than they'll hit something upstairs.
Two and two. Left field side from Melky. Saladino's over, and Garcia, nobody gets there.
Long run
for both, yeah.
Particularly a long run for Tyler. He had to go get it. A tough play as it spins back toward the field of play. And it'll undoubtedly go as no play.
So 2-2 it remains on Melky Cabrera. Two and two. Inside 3-2. By my count, that was the 50th pitch of the inning for a White Sox pitcher. 19 from Holland, 31 from Pelfrey. Melky in the air, right field. Garcia over and no play. Homer double walk. Fly out Homer single walk. It's like playing that game Simon.
It
Remember you used to play Simon, red, yellow, red.
It has not been a particularly entertaining inning.
3-2. To first. Abreu the spin and throw and out at first. Double play. Nicely turned by the Sox. The inning's over. Kansas City though picks up 4 more. 8-0.
State Farm here to help life go right, and this double play went right. 3, 6, and 3 to nip Melky and get out of the inning.
Good to see Dallas Keuchel still here. It's Adam Engel, Tim Anderson, Tyler Saladino coming up in the third. Boy, Houston has fallen on some hard times. The Sox pushed him halfway down the well, and they've lost 2 in a row after that too. So the Astros are only up 12 in the division, and they're going to win the division, right? They'll win the West. However, it's starting to get maybe a little antsy down there in the Lone Star State.
Well, certainly not the same team without Correa at shortstop.
Springer being out for a while as well. He's now back, as we saw, but
as well as Dallas Keuchel not throwing it all that well, and McCullers still DL'd, so they've got to get back healthy. If they don't, they're going to be losing a lot more this second half.
Three and one to Engel. How about for Vargas? That's a long time on the bench twice now. Ball 4.
And normally when you have that length of an inning, the umpire is going to give you a few more warm-ups if you need them. And pitchers will gladly trade whatever time you have to spend on the bench between innings for the 8 runs that are up there.
Tim Anderson, who popped foul to first, and Hosmer in the first inning. Ball number 1. Well, if you're Dave Island, the pitching coach for the Royals, you just want to see strikes. Ground ball to short. Escobar is so smooth. Merrifield to turn, and that is a double play, neatly finished off by the Royals middle infield.
One of the advantages that Royals pitchers have had of recent vintage is the fact that they usually have a very good defensive team behind him. And even though Tim's got some speed, he can't outrun the relay throw, as Merrifield does a nice job of getting to the bag and getting rid of it quickly.
Two down, Tyler Saladino takes ball number 1.
Sox fans, you can check out the White Sox blog at WGNTV.com, presented by Nationwide's Jeff Vukovich. Go to jeffvuk.com or follow him on social media, because Nationwide is on your side. And so is Jeff today, as he came up, said hello before the game.
Good to see Jeff.
He's a large man.
A tall guy.
Yes. Ran into him a couple times in Arizona, of all places.
How'd you run into him? Easy to see.
Well, yeah, but it was from the side and he couldn't see me coming, so I took the shot.
You're not going to believe this, folks. We didn't plan that joke.
No.
2-2 to Saladino. And Vargas strikes him out to end the third. 8-0 Kansas City. Stone, and welcome to our unsanctioned toy store we call the Prize Show.
Yes, and we've got a Star Wars bobblehead stormtrooper. Very nice. This is on sale today for nothing.
On sale?
If you win. It's on sale for nothing.
Steve's hawking all our stuff we're trying to give away. That's what those price tags are for, huh? We also have socks from the 1917 game, but we have both home and away Sox.
We do. And a couple of caps, the Margaritaville cap and the Sox cap.
Moustakas in the air. Garcia scoots over to make the catch. Mike Moustakas hasn't been involved in the reindeer games. He's 0 for 3. And there they all are. Our new gnome. A couple of little southpaws. It's being National Left-Hander Day.
It's a little moose.
Because the antlers is what you're saying.
Yes.
I thought the jersey at first. I thought it was a Moustakas jersey, and then I looked again and saw the antlers. One strike on Bonifacio. There was a squirrel on the batting cage during batting practice a couple of days ago. Yeah, there was.
Oh, no.
There was a plush squirrel on the batting cage.
I can tell where you're heading.
No. I'm just going to let everybody piece it together on their own. But there was. I don't know who put it there, but during Sox batting practice a couple days ago, there was a squirrel, and now Moose has come to town. Two balls, two strikes on Bonifacio. Here's your Sox Math question for today. Hashtag Sox Math on Twitter. Abreu home runs last night multiplied by the jersey number of the Bears punter who attended the same high school as Michael Kopech. That's your question. Two-part, do a little digging. Strike 3 from Mike Pelfrey, out number 2 here in the 4th.
This is moving ever so gently into the first 1-2-3 inning of the afternoon for a Sox pitcher. As Bonifacio gets rung up.
Two down for Cuthbert. Who takes ball number 1.
Huge gap in left center. Adam Engel just to the right of center field, and Garcia playing him straight away in left field.
Thought you're going to get blamed for jinxing the 1-2-3 inning if that was ball 4. Is there such a thing as a 1-2-3 inning jinx, or does it just count for no hitters?
You can jinx anything.
Is that right?
Oh yeah. Not this one though.
Ah, unavailable jinx. Engel for out number 3, and we'll play bottom 4 after this. 8-0 Royals with the lead.
by visiting WGNTV.com and click on the Game Zone for the latest stats and information. Dodd Camera, family owned and serving Chicagoland for over 125 years. Dodd Camera, where the focus is on you.
Happy marriage. Congratulations. Also, that's a really large drink. Hopefully that's not an indication of how things went at the ceremony.
Sometimes it's necessary. Yes, and the best way to watch a game is understanding which direction the field is in.
That's right.
Although early in this one you can make a case for looking in the other direction.
I was wondering whether or not you were going to offer the counter argument.
No, I would never do that.
You just did.
Oh, really? Okay.
Ball at 2 strikes.
Meantime, Vargas is sailing right along, loves the offensive support. He's only given up the 1 hit.
Check swing. He did go. Strike 3. 4th punch out for Vargas. Here's your Sox math answer for today. 2 home runs for Abreu. 8 is Maury Buford's jersey number. He went to Mount Pleasant High School in Texas, same high school as Michael Kopech. 16 is your answer. Brian B. 250. Brian B. 250 with a win. Congratulations.
Nice job, and you get your choice of anything you want except what we won't give you on the prize shelf.
We're always open to suggestions. Pop-up foul. Hosmer is there, 2 down here in the 4th. Nicky Delmonico coming up.
The good thing for Kansas City is the fact that, yes, they are back of 2 teams. However, because of the unbalanced schedule, because going down the stretch, you're going to play a whole lot of Cleveland. Certainly, that's a team they have to beat. Same thing with Minnesota, at least for the moment. And they'll have the opportunity to do that.
Kansas City, couple games under in the Central this year.
That's usually not the recipe to getting into the playoffs, is the inability to handle your own division.
Something the Sox have struggled with the last few years.
And the surprising thing with Cleveland leading the division by 4.5 coming in is that they're only 31-27 at home. Normally it doesn't work out that way. Normally you try to dominate people in your home park. Boston's an example of that, 36-20 at Fenway, and a 500 team on the road. And the Red Sox come into play today, leading New York by 4.5.
A little sketchy on the concourse there. As that is up, and ball 4. Delmonico's on a second time here in the 4th. Bring your little all-star closer to the game. Fans 13 and under can join the White Sox Kids Club and receive free Sox tickets, new gear, access to exclusive events, and skip the line during Kids Run the Bases on Family Sundays like today. Head to whitesox.com/Kids Club today to join.
A beautiful day to run the bases today. We encourage the boys wearing white
to undertake such a thing.
Do a little bit more of it. A lot of young people at the ballpark. It was wonderful weather almost the entire homestand. And this day is a great example of it. Mid-70s. A few wispy clouds. No rain in sight. And a young man inquiring about, hey, where'd that guy go with the hot dogs? What do they call that, Mom?
Ball low, 1-2. Sox will be at Dodger Stadium Tuesday, Wednesday. Weather's supposed to be great out there as well in the mid-70s. Oh, that's a far-flung Expo fan. maybe adopting every team that was good in 1994 as a favorite team. Strike 3 for Smith, inning over for Vargas. We'll play the 5th after this. Michael Kopech had another brilliant outing. In our White Sox farm report, this is strikeout number 10 of a Chattanooga lookout. So Kopech in his last 6 starts has been awesome. 7 innings, 3 hits last night, 10 strikeouts. Last 6 starts, 41 innings, 3 earned runs. That's a .66 ERA, 7 walks, 54 strikeouts.
And when you talked to him in spring training, he had a pretty good idea about the fact that he liked to throw the ball hard. And when you have a fastball at 102, 103 miles an hour, you're going to be doing a whole lot of that. The impressive thing is the secondary stuff and his command of it. That was something that wasn't really known until he had the opportunity this year to actually go to the mound as a starting pitcher for a prolonged period of time. The secondary stuff has looked really good, especially that slider.
Well, we asked him about that when we had him on the phone a couple of months ago, and he said he feels more and more comfortable with his secondary stuff.
Well, realizing that's the only path for him to get to the major leagues, and he still has some growing to do. Not necessarily physically, because he's a big, strong, but very young man.
Two and one to Escobar. And if you're wondering about a landing time in Chicago for Michael Kopech, he's going to finish the season in the minors this year, and then next year you would imagine he would open the season in the minor leagues, and then we'll see from there.
Yeah, they haven't really, I mean, they haven't limited his innings a lot. He's gone 7 innings a few different times, and certainly when you strike out that many guys, you're going to throw a lot of pitches, so his strength is built up nicely.
Escobar couldn't hold up, and there's strikeout number 4 for Sox pitchers. It's back with a vengeance.
This is a revisit.
A game that we play every once in a while called In the Ballpark. We're going to have 5 clues to guess what our crew has come up with. Well, something in the ballpark.
Yeah, that one is certainly, I mean, that's a wonderful clue. You can easily get the I am a thing.
The point of the game is to make Steve and I look like
what we normally are.
Fools.
Yeah, occasionally.
So hashtag In the Ballpark on Twitter. Send your guesses as this ball goes up the middle off Moncada's glove, and Butera has a 1-out single. So play along with us. First clue is I am a thing, so I'm going to guess. I'm going to guess the shrubs in center.
I can't, honestly, true story, I can't believe you said that.
Is that right?
Yeah, because that was going to be my guess, which is always my first guess.
Is that right?
The shrubs in center. It's never right, It's always my first guess. Well, now I have to go to my auxiliary guess. So I'm going to say it's the Vienna beef hot dog sign in the bullpen.
That's always your first guess.
Only when someone has absconded with my shrubbery in center field guess.
Are you one of those knights who say knee?
Yeah, either that or white satin.
Somebody needs to bring you a shrubbery. There's the Vienna beef sign, and I'm guessing by the lack of response from the crew, neither of us is right.
No, I would think not. It's not a Wednesday.
0-2 on Merrifield with Butera at first and 1 out.
I did notice something that was brought to the booth for you.
Oh, yeah.
Which actually looks spectacular.
So Molly from the public relations office brings up food for us because we never get to go around the stadium and try out the food here at the ballpark. Hashtag in the ballpark.
Well, the we would be stretching it a touch.
Well, what?
But you certainly.
She brings up food for both of us. You just always decline, much to the delight of writers on the interwebs. On the ground and through, a base hit on 2 strikes for Whit Merrifield.
I might not have declined that, though.
You can have some if you want. There's a lot of cheese on them, though. You can take your meds. Get in a pregame stretch with Core Power Yoga on Sunday, August 27th before the Sox take on the Tigers. This ticket package includes an hour-long yoga class in our upper terrace suite, as well as a lower box seat to the game. This package is limited to the first 150 purchases, so visit whitesox.com/yoga today.
And it looks like there was a call to the bullpen. Now, nobody yet is up and stirring, but Kurt Hassler is going over to mention to the boys it's time for someone to get up. So get up they will.
Kane takes a strike. What you're talking about is these brisket cheese fries from Shy Sox Bar and Grill, and I'm telling you, this might be the best food item we've had all year up in the booth. Not even joking.
No, you seem to be enjoying it.
Yeah.
Immensely.
Kind of want there to be a double play so I can have more. It's not the only reason I'd like double play, but it's definitely at least a silver medal winner.
Chris Beck throwing into pen. He picked up an inning plus in last night's game. James Shields going 6 and throwing it pretty well. 1 walk, 8 strikeouts for James.
Ball and 2 strikes on Kane. I'm telling you, these look so good, don't they? How about that?
It's really nice.
You want some?
Yeah, maybe not.
Maybe not.
I'll wait
Why?
for after this road trip to come back and do something with that.
What part of these could you not want?
The cheese.
That was easy.
Yeah.
1 and 2. It's outside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. That's at Shy Sox Bar and Grill, and another little moose here at the ballpark. All the way from Frostbite Falls. 3 and 2.
There's some kind of interesting news. Interesting when you consider how good Giancarlo Stanton is. He's hit 21 home runs in his last 33 games, including his 42nd today. Pretty amazing run for the big right-hand hitter.
And none of his are cheapies. I mean, they all go a long way.
I've seen too many guys go on a streak where they've hit 21 home runs in 33 games. Which would lead you to believe or wonder, with the Miami team, the configuration that it is, why they keep pitching to Stanton.
Yeah, that's, he should have Bond's numbers, intentional walk-wise. 3-2 gets a swing and a miss, and Kane strikes out for the 7th time in this series. Now the challenge is to get Eric Hosmer out, something that hasn't happened so far this afternoon. Single to center. 2 walks for Hosmer. Merrifield at first, Butera at second, and Pelfrey on the mound. This is 3rd inning. To left field from Hosmer. Garcia back at the warning track, and he brings it in for the final out of the top of the 5th. 2 stranded for Kansas City. 7 left in the game, but 8 have scored.
Checking an official White Sox debit card only available at your local Wintrust Community Bank. Go to wintrust.com/White Sox to learn more. Wintrust Community Bank, member FDIC.
Bottom 5, Moncada, Garcia, and Engel coming up against the left-hander Vargas. He sweeps in a breaking ball for strike 1. Lost in all of the Kansas City offense today is that Vargas has been quite good once again.
Well, he's had just a terrific year.
But as you mentioned in our open today, he'd slowed down some from an outstanding first half.
Yeah, things haven't been going well, but against a team who he's had monumental troubles, and that's the Sox, he's doing very well.
Moncada turns on this ball to the corner, and that's a fair ball off the wall. Yohan Moncada with some muscle to lead off the 5th.
This is the second hit given up by Vargas. That one hugged the line the whole way, kind of nestling ever so gently right down the line in the corner. Jumps on a high fastball, and it stays fair.
So for Yohan Moncada, that's extra base hit number 6 in his White Sox career. And here's Garcia, who popped out to short his first time. News across the wire is that Clayton Kershaw is going to throw a simulated game while the Sox are out in Los Angeles. That's set for Wednesday.
I watched him tossing in the outfield the other day, some video of it, and he looked very comfortable. He looked like everything was fine, but you can never really tell with back problems, and Kershaw's had that. But the way things are going for the Dodgers, they have to make sure, and they will, that he's healthy, his arm is strong as they go into the playoffs, because they will undoubtedly be there.
breaking ball grounded foul by Garcia.
Vargas has lost the better part of 2 full seasons to injury. One was a while ago. One was 2008. He was injured, didn't pitch, and then he had elbow surgery and missed most of last year. He did start 3 for Kansas City late.
Wild card standings are really bunched up in the American League. The Angels starting play today were a game up on Seattle for 3rd place in the West. A half game up on Minnesota for that wild card spot. Escobar backhand long throw and safe the call. Infield single for Garcia.
Pretty good effort on both sides of the play. The backhand for Escobar and the nice scoop at first base by Hosmer. Hosmer, one of baseball's best first basemen. This is not an easy play. It skipped across. It's neither a true short hop or a long hop.
It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah, he's out at first base. So this one shouldn't take a great deal of time.
By the way, I mentioned Royals pitching coach Dave Island.
Yeah.
He was an extra. He was a body double essentially for Kevin Costner in For the Love of the Game, the movie. Which makes me wonder, what's your favorite baseball movie?
Field of Dreams.
No shot that it's anything else. You were quick out of the chute with that.
Yeah, well, there are better baseball movies detailing actually what Major League Baseball is like, and they are going to call him out at first base, which is obviously the call.
We'll get back to that during the next review.
Movie review?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have you review things during reviews.
Well, it could have been Bang the Drum Slowly. Yeah, because I like a good comedy every now and then, so. But we'll stay with Field of Dreams.
Okay.
Sentimentality and all, pretty nice.
We'll revisit.
Okay.
1 down, 1 on Adam Engel. Ball and no strikes. One and 1 to Engel. He was 0 for 2 against Vargas. That's career dating back to a couple of weeks ago. Two hits for the Sox. The Smith single in the second, the Moncada double in the fifth. Two and two. Moncada still at second base with 1 out in this fifth.
We'll take a look at number 42 for Giancarlo Stanton. '42nd home run to the opposite field, tying him with Gary Sheffield for most home runs hit in a season.
Hit it to the empty chair in right field.
Home run number 250. In a career that will see many more of them. The question is, where will it be as new ownership takes over? And that's something that they will have to decide. It's a huge financial obligation going down the road.
Vargas has strikeout number 6.
Another changeup, and Vargas has a dandy.
2 down for Tim. Big lead for Moncada at second base. And ball 1 to Anderson. Kansas City 4 in the second, 4 in the third. That was a 9-batter second inning and an 8-batter third inning against Derek Holland and eventually Mike Pelfrey in the third. Anderson lights it up left center field. This one's going a long way and out of here. Sox are on the board thanks to Tim Anderson.
Home run number 13, and Tim is now, well, in his pursuit of 20, he's getting close. Looks like Vargas tried to get a fastball by him inside, and this one's straight out over the plate. And Tim takes it out.
Rick Hahn said earlier this week that he doesn't know if he's seen another player in his time with the team dealing with more off the field than Tim has dealt with this year. And finally, Tim has discarded that feeling of numbness, he says, that he felt after he lost one of his closest friends in gun violence a couple of months ago. And with his home run, another generous donation from the Alex Stelius family in loving memory of Ursula.
Well, 13 home runs at this point. Imagine what it's going to be like when he gets a real good feeling for what pitchers are going to try to do to him.
Saladino down the line, and Tyler's on his way to second base.
3 extra base hits in the inning. And finally starting to get to Jason Vargas. This one might have been out of the strike zone, and Tyler takes it right down the line past Cuthbert. Leaving it up to the big man. Trying to get the Sox a little closer. Still a long way to go in this one.
Kansas City needs 13 outs to get to the finish line. It's an 8-2 game. And Abreu, who's top 25 in slugging against lefties this year, smokes this ball to center. Abreu scores Saladino. It's 8-3.
That's 71 driven in. And a quick trot to the mound for Dave Island as Jose takes it up the middle. That been pretty easy. I mean, look, you're talking about a guy that will most likely have 25 home runs in his first 4 years with the organization, which is something obviously has never been done because he was the first to get to 20. But in run-producing situations, you can tell, you just look at his swing and you can tell he's got a great idea what he wants to do with the baseball. That does not include trying to hit each and every pitch out of the ballpark. And although he is a prolific home run hitter, he is a better run producer, and he showed you there exactly how you do it.
Foul ball off Butera from Garcia, strike 1.
And Jose was talking about the overall aspect of his game, and he said something pretty interesting about letting it all go each and every day, giving it everything he has, because he's concerned if he didn't, he would get a call from his mother, who would read him essentially the riot act.
Javi Garcia into center, Abreu to second base, and for the Sox, that's 4 straight hits against Vargas. You don't want mom on your case if you're a Jose.
Nope. But he doesn't have to worry about lack of effort, because Jose is a prolific worker. And the boys have gotten to Vargas this inning.
Nicky Delmonico's been on twice. He was walked on 4 last time. And he takes a strike.
We've talked about it a couple different times, but it should not be lost in the exuberance of some of the other young players and what they're doing. Getting on base, 11 straight games for Nicky, start a career. That is really impressive. It's 12 games with this one today, but I mean, it's been remarkable, and he's done it a lot of different ways. Getting hit was one that he wouldn't like to emulate. However, that one caught the uniform and not him. As you look at the bullpen up and going, it's Mike Minor.
0-2. Now, Nicky Delmonico, who's on his 3rd organization, has found a place. And look, talking to Nick Capra about it, and some of the Sox folks, they didn't know exactly where he'd fit in as he checks his swing and does not go. 1-2. They didn't know whether or not he was going to be a major league player when they got him. However, he's turned out to be, and everybody's overjoyed.
Well, you really don't know. I mean, this is his first opportunity in the major leagues, and he fought his way to get here, and it was an injury that initially got him this opportunity. And now he's made the most of it.
Delmonico in the air to right field. Bonifacio to the gap, and Kane comes over to make the play. Lorenzo Kane with great speed, hoofing it over to kill the rally here in the 5th inning. Major play by Kane.
Watch Lorenzo Kane. He's an outstanding center fielder, but he wants to make sure that Bonifacio gets out of the way. So he knows he's going to make the catch. but he didn't really hit the afterburners until he motioned to Bonifacio that I've got this. Stay away from it. And that allowed him the time to go over and make the play. Caught it in the end of the glove, but even with the 6 errors he has, he's still one of baseball's best, and he avoided the collision with good communication with his right fielder, which is what a center fielder should do. And now Joe West wants to have a talk with Rick Renteria.
Don't know that Rick appreciated whatever the conversation was based on the reaction.
Well,
although it looks like maybe the replay system might be down.
Chris Beck, the new pitcher.
He faces Melky. So Pelfrey, 3 innings, 4 hits, 1 run that was earned, a walk, and 3 strikeouts. Here are the numbers on Beck. Melky Cabrera in his return to Chicago not long after he was here, just a couple weeks.
Chris threw an inning plus last night, gave up a run, a hit, and a walk in his 1+.
Ball 4 in a row, and Cabrera is on. If you're playing in the ballpark along with us, you're trying to guess, I am a thing and colors are my world. That's the second clue. Colors are my world.
I'll say it's the top of the scoreboard with the
Pinwheels.
Yeah, the pinwheels when a home run is hit.
I think that's a really good guess.
But not right.
Well, funny enough, that's what I was going to guess.
Oh, you're just saying that.
No, I was actually going to.
Well, that's why I said it, because I saw you pointing toward it.
Ball to no strikes on Moustakas. Oh, wow. Steve has the correct answer.
All right. How about that?
Congratulations.
What do I win? A hearty handshake?
You win some brisket fries. You folks didn't see it at home, but Steve just looked at the prize shelf like he was going to take something off.
Sure, I got to do that.
Here are the rest of the clues.
Okay.
I start and end a White Sox winner. During the game, I work on a round-trip basis. Good clue. I am the king of spin. Scoreboard pinwheel. Hashtag in the ballpark.
There you go.
That's the earliest in the ballpark answer in game history.
But we haven't played it for a while, so in doing my research for In the Park, just in case it would ever come up, that just popped right out at me.
If as you were leaving the game the last 5 days, you saw Steve creeping around corners, looking at nooks and crannies here, this is why. 3 balls and a strike on Moustakas. As the Sox picked up 3 in their turn at bat in the 5th, but Kansas City now threatening with the former teammates reunited at first base. 3-1. Ball 4. 6th walk today for Kansas City. Sox fans, join us as the Sox take on the Minnesota Twins August 24th, 7:10 p.m. Free T-shirt Thursday. First 10,000 fans get a Dick Allen retro tee presented by the Village of Bedford Park. Bring your business home to Bedford Park and win big. Purchase your tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME. Don Cooper to the mound to talk to Beck after back-to-back walks.
Earlier in the year, we had a chance to talk with Andy Green, the skipper of the San Diego Padres, so it's nice that they've decided to extend his contract. He's a pretty smart young man who understands this game. And now we'll have contractually through the 2021 season as the skipper of the Padres, a young team, a growing team, and they're expecting that Andy Green is going to grow along with him, and they're going to make sure he's in place to do that.
Gregory Infante starting to get loose. Yeah, Padres have so much young talent, so many guys that really, if you're looking at histories, don't have any major league experience. None, and maybe don't belong in the majors considering the Rule 5 draft pick, including one who was in the Appalachian League in rookie ball last year, Cordoba.
One pick off their team who is. We're talking about one pick off the Padres.
Foul ground first base side. And Abreu runs into the Royals dugout.
He does a nice job, not of necessarily losing his glove, and now he can't get it back. But he's got to have it. He cannot play first without it. This is not 16-inch softball. So they give him the glove back. He almost made the catch. Kevin calling for it. Jose drifting over as the ball does, and Jose comes up a little short, but more important than that, he doesn't get hurt. That's Salvi Perez. Doesn't want to give him the glove back. Come on, Salvi. We got to play.
Glove. Give me the glove. Give it. On 2 strikes. 1 and 2. You were saying with the Padres?
One pick off their team.
Will Myers.
I'd go something different. I like Will Myers. Margot. Manuel Margot.
Huh.
A little younger. Myers has been terrific.
I actually thought you were going to say Hunter Renfroe as this ball ends up in right center field. Bonifacio gets it to the gap, and here comes Melky to score. The Royals are back on the board at 9-3.
Bonifacio with a big turn at first base, thinking about 2, and then realized that that would not be a good play with nobody out. And that's going to be it for Chris Beck, as Bonifacio lines it into the gap, thinking about a double. Instead, it turns into run batted in number 35. He also hit a solo home run in the 3rd. So Beck will depart, as will we. We'll be back. Fans. And we got a new pitcher coming in the ball game, trying to turn off Kansas City offense. Gregory Infante on for the 31st time. ERA just a little above 4.5. And there you look at the rest of the numbers. A higher whip than he would like, as is the opponent's batting average at 293.
He'll face Cheslor Cuthbert, who, growing up, as we told you, he grew up in Horn Island, Nicaragua. And when he was doing math problems growing up, his grandfather used to say to him, so you have this many chickens, then you subtract, somebody takes a couple of chickens away from you, how many do you have? They used to use chickens in math problems growing up in Nicaragua. And Cheslor took to chickens and fowls so much that at home he has his own very large coop. Cuthbert in the air, left of center. Adam Engel underneath. Moustakas tags from third, and he scores to 10-3. Cuthbert the RBI, and as of last year it was 73 roosters, 40 hens, and 116 chicks. Cheslor Cuthbert owns and maintains at home. That's 270 fowl.
Yes, and we have a sizable coop also.
One out, and there's a strike to Escobar. He calls every day to check on them.
You never know what happens to him.
There's a lot of stories to tell. What did chicken number 26 do today? You a pet guy?
Yes, very much.
Other than dogs, though?
Not so much.
Well, then you're just a dog guy.
True.
What? I don't want to meet your logic professor. If A, then B. A happened, not B. Two strikes on Escobar. Bonifacio at first. Those two runs are on Chris Beck's bill today. Bonifacio is still his property at first as well. And strike three, 2 down. We told you about the injury to Bryce Harper earlier today. Nolan Arenado, one of the best players in baseball for the Colorado Rockies, hit by a pitch and then eventually came out of the game for further evaluation in that Marlins-Rockies game. Starting to think our truck's actually watching the Marlins-Rocky game. We had the Stanton home run and now the Arenado hit by pitch.
Well, for the Rockies, that's something that is very much a cause for concern. He's their all-everything third baseman.
You saw him close up in Denver. What do you like about him?
Well, there's nothing he can't do. I mean, you're talking about a guy that can hit the ball out of the ballpark, which he does consistently, drive in a lot of runs, hit for a high average, and play a remarkably good third base. I think the only thing disappointing for the Rockies this year is that they can't get Carlos Gonzalez going, because he's one of the better players on that team, and yet this has been a very disappointing year for him.
Well, the young pitching's been so impressive for the Rockies.
And the Rockies, their feeling is that they don't know if that young pitching is going to be healthy enough coming down the stretch, because they're taking these guys and they've got a bigger workload than they've ever had. And so you worry about young pitchers as you moved into crunch time.
Infante just off the corner. You're saying it's just a totally different feeling even in September?
Well, very much so, especially if guys haven't been there before. If you're used to knocking at the door 200 innings, then you have no problem if you get close and move by it. But if you've never gotten there, then it becomes difficult. And they got a whole staff of young pitchers. I mean, really talented young pitchers, as we saw when we played them there. They've got great arms. They throw the ball very well. But they're very concerned about each and every one wearing down under the pressure of a pennant race.
Marquez lost today. He went 4 1/3 as that's a base hit up the box for Butera. A 3-hit game for Royals catcher Drew Butera. Two on, two out for Merrifield, who had a home run back in the third, a 3-run shot, then a single to right last inning. And a visit from Kevin Smith. 9-pitch at bat in the third inning for Merrifield.
There's the 3-run bomb. And it came in the third inning. Our Ford drive of the game, so visit your local Ford store or buyfordnow.com.
Seventh batter of the 6th inning for Kansas City. It's been a foul ball machine with Merrifield.
Usually gives you pretty solid at bats. If anything characterizes his game, that's it. Nothing spectacular, but a lot of things very good, including running the bases.
Right center field, big trouble. To the wall it goes. Bonifacio home, Butera's coming as well, and Merrifield is a double away from the cycle today.
Drives home 2 more, giving him 5 runs batted in on his 3 hits. He now has 56 of them. His breaking ball did not break sharply enough, and Merrifield was able to stay with it and drive it into the gap in right center field.
Now Lorenzo Cain takes a strike. So Chris Beck, 1 hit, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, and no outs today. All 3 who reached scored. And Infante charged with a run as well. Angle in center has it sized up. And that is all she wrote for a Kansas City inning, which saw 4 more runs. 3 4-run innings for Kansas City, 12-3. Sox, and this day in White Sox history dating back to 1954. Jack Harshman went 16 innings, gave up 9 hits, 7 walks, 12 strikeouts in a win against the Tigers. He faced 65 batters. A former hitter, Harshman, and you look at old Al from the Tigers, goes 15 1/3, gives up a run, takes the loss. Sorry about it.
He could never go the distance. That was a problem with Al.
It's true. Here's Jack Harshman, who, like Wilson Alvarez, started his career with another team and then very quickly ended up with the Sox as Kevin Smith grounds out to start the 6th inning.
That must have taken a long time.
16 innings? Nope, 3 hours, 50 minutes.
We could get that. We could get that today.
Maybe. Harshman, by the way, 65 batters faced. That's second most since 1913. We asked the folks at Stats Inc. Harshman, 65 batters faced, second most amount of batters for a single pitcher. Harshman was a big-time hitter and then went to pitching after that. And here's Kevin Smith's ground out to short as we were reminiscing.
Escobar gives up some ground and then throws him out. He probably wouldn't have played it like that had it not been a catcher running, but he knew he had some time and he made the play.
One and two. It's outside, 2 balls and 2 strikes. We were mentioning the batters faced. Ernie Koob for the St. Louis Browns, 69 batters in 17 innings back in 1916. As Moncada goes down swinging. Walter Johnson, 62 batters against the Sox in 1918. 2 down in the inning. Take a look at the Moncada strikeout.
Another changeup. Vargas is pinpointing it well this afternoon.
We were talking about Wilson Alvarez in context of Reynaldo Lopez, who had gone a couple of innings of no-hit ball. Alvarez, who started his career with that 1 start against the Rangers, then made it back to the big leagues with the White Sox after coming over, and in that first start in a Sox jersey threw a no-hitter back in 1991. One of those games where you count your taste buds.
Figuring out the exact location of your tongue is also essential.
Future tongue cartographer. In the air, center field. It hangs up for Kane, and that'll do it for the 6th inning. 1, 2, 3. The Sox go 12-3 after 6.
Sox. Stanley, performance in action.
Kansas City has a pinch hitter coming up. It's Brandon Moss hitting for Eric Hosmer, whose day's done after a 1-for-2 with 2 walks. Moss started yesterday and went 0-for-4 with 3 strikeouts. The 5-4 Kansas City win in game 2 of the series. Brandon Moss didn't grab a bat to stand there.
No, and he's been a pinch hitter 9 times, 1 for 9 with a couple driven in.
Kansas City will get on the plane for Oakland. Sox will hang out here for the off day and then fly to Los Angeles tomorrow to take on the Dodgers. Strike 3 from Infante to Moss, and 1 away in the 7th. Down on the farm, AAA Charlotte with a 9-4 victory over Lehigh Valley. Jake Peter, who started the year with AA Birmingham with a solo homer. Casey Gillespie, a 3-run home run, the haul for Dan Jennings in that trade from Tampa Bay. If you recognize the name Gillespie, there's a reason.
Younger brother of Connor Gillespie.
A 1. Now 0-2. It's really interesting that Melky Cabrera goes from trade commodity that really isn't garnering many phone calls to 4-hitter on wild card contender.
Well, there's no doubt that wherever he went, he was going to help that team. It's just a question of what they wanted to give up and what they wanted to pay in the idea of the remainder of his salary for this year, because after this season he's going to be a free agent like so many of these Royals.
Hosmer, Escobar. Melky checks his swing and doesn't go. 2-2.
Good location for that pitch. Almost got it by Melky, but he was able to just barely stay alive at the last instant. Gregory tried to throw it under his hands. He got it there. And Melky fought it off.
2-2.
Kevin McCarthy, who we've seen in this series, warming up in the pen. We saw him in the opener of the series where he pitched an inning.
Three balls, 2 strikes on Cabrera. Breaking ball chopped to second. 2 down. MLB.TV every night, every device. Watch every out-of-market regular season game live. Plus, get a free subscription to At Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.TV for details. Maybe they're watching a game right there.
Could very well be.
Strike one to Moustakas. So with Moustakas scoring in the 6th, every Royal starter except Hosmer has scored at least a run in this game.
What's surprising, Hosmer was on 3 straight times in the first 3 innings. He couldn't dent the plate.
Royals need a win to stay 5 back because Cleveland beat Tampa Bay 4-3. Corey Kluber, the winning pitcher. Austin Jackson and Edwin Encarnacion both with homers in the game, and Jay Bruce with a double, an RBI, and a run scored.
Kluber won his 11th, running his record to 11-3.
And to center field and a hit for Moustakas.
The base hit foiled what would have been the second 1-2-3 inning, accomplished by Mike Pelfrey in the 4th. That's been it.
Bonifacio checks his swing and strike one. This is raring to be loss number 70 on the year for the White Sox in a season that you knew was going to be a struggle at times with all the young players coming in. It was great to see the last couple of days the youth showing some life, some energy, spark late in games with some very entertaining wins and a sweep of Houston. And Kansas City has come back yesterday and then put a big number on the board today.
They didn't let Derek Holland get away with too many mistakes as he went 2+, 7 runs on 7 hits.
You mentioned it very early today that Derek Holland said that he wanted to be around the plate much more than in his 7-walk start, and that this is the wrong team to be around the plate against.
Well, they're a contact hitting crew that doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but does make a lot of contact.
Two and two on Bonifacio. Moustakas at first. Check swing. He went around. Strike 3. Joe West rings him up, and the inning's over. We'll stay here for a rendition of God Bless America with Miles Hayes.
Ladies and gentlemen, at Major League ballparks across America each Sunday, the singing of God Bless America is performed in support of our country and our men and women stationed overseas. Please welcome Miles Hayes for the singing of God Bless America.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home sweet home. God bless
then 2 with the Dodgers and 4 with the Texas Rangers in Arlington. Then it's home for a big 5-game series with the Twins, including that doubleheader on Monday, and then Detroit comes to town. See your authorized Dodge dealer to experience a world of performance, design, and fuel efficiency. Go to Dodge.com and check out our powerful lineup. Alex Gordon checks in the game to play center field. Brandon Moss at first base. And Kevin McCarthy on the hill. There's a look at Brandon Moss, who came on to pinch hit, stays in defensively. And there's a look at Kevin McCarthy. On for the 19th time. He threw it real well in this series. He's 1-0 with ERA at 196, which does not go hand in hand with the 176 opponent's batting average, but there it is.
McCarthy replaces Vargas, who went 6 innings, gave up 6 hits, 3 earned runs, 2 walks, 7 strikeouts. The only real blemish on Vargas's record was that 5th inning. Tim Anderson, a 2-run homer, Jose Abreu, an RBI single. Got the feeling the Sox might be thinking comeback after that 3-run inning, but the Royals stamped that out with 4 in their next at bat.
You're seeing 3 4s up. 2nd, 3rd, and 6th inning. Hard to get by that, as the Royal offense, which hasn't been great this year, has been great today.
Engel fights it off, foul, 2-2. Adams still with no balls in play so far today. A walk and a strikeout. Strikeout number 1 for McCarthy. One down for Anderson. Mentioned the Sox going to LA. We showed you the upcoming schedule. It's Miguel Gonzalez versus Alex Wood Tuesday night. That's 9:10 Central Time on WGN. Then Wednesday, a tremendous pitching matchup. Carlos Rodon and Yu Darvish locking horns at 9:10 Central Time as well. So change your sleep schedule, whatever you need to do, and hang out late night with us. Escobar roving over on a nice play. Boy, at shortstop, there's that impenetrable wall for Kansas City.
Time now for our Mazda replay cam, and it's Escobar drifting up the middle. He's got plenty of time. The off-balance throw, and gets it there.
Two down for Saladino. Strike 1.
McCarthy throws the ball across his body, and that usually adds to the deception against the right-handers, but makes it a little easier for the left-handers to see the ball all the way.
He's gotten 2 righties so far, Engel and Anderson. Sox with a lefty and 2 switch hitters in the lineup today. Delmonico and then Moncada and Garcia back to back. Escobar, the backhand, and the bobble, and maybe he's not impenetrable. Saladino's safe.
If it is an error, it'll be his 11th. And we'll have to see how it's scored. It is indeed an error. It is the 11th. It's stuck in the glove to start with. And then he looks to see if it's in the glove. It was before it dropped out.
It was until it wasn't. And now Abreu with Saladino at first, 2 down. Strike 1-1 to Jose, who grounded out to short, struck out, and drove in a run with a single in the 5th. Hard hit on the ground, second base. Merrifield can't handle it. And the Sox have 2 on a couple of ground balls to the middle infield here in the 7th.
Got to be E4. Ball was hit hard, but it was hit right at Whit Merrifield. And, well, apparently Christmas does come early here. That was a 2-hopper right in the middle of his body. And Jose is going to depart as Alan Hansen comes on to run it first.
Jose may have just gotten the bad hop bonus or high hop bonus.
Yes, most likely.
2 on, 2 out. And ball 1 to Avi Garcia. Well, you'd imagine Saladino would play first now.
I would assume so, yes.
Your typical reserve first baseman for this team at the beginning of the year are right now either on the disabled list or playing for the Yankees. Todd Frazier and Matt Davidson.
Todd could move over there quite easily and play a good first base. And Matt, his return has been pushed back. Apparently that soreness will not leave his wrist.
One and 2 on Garcia. Fouled away right side. Gavi needs a new bat. It sounded like it broke. He was examining the change.
Brad Goldberg pretty well loosened up.
One and 2 on Garcia. Avi to left field down the line. Fair ball. Saladino could backstroke home. Hansen follows and scores. And the Sox get 2 runs on that ball from Avi Garcia.
So the one error opened the door, and now an off-speed pitch, and Avi takes it down the line and drives in a pair. He's now got 57. Been a long time between runs batted in for Avi. This one, fair by a touch. And the fact that nobody did touch the baseball allowed Hansen to score.
Delmonico takes a ball. That ball smashed up the gap right center field. Delmonico having quite the day. That's an RBI double. It's 12-6. Hey, Nicky.
Sixth run driven in. And we'll take a look at Nicky going down, getting a thigh-high fastball and hitting the daylights out of it. Alex Gordon, who came in defensively in center field, could not get to it quickly enough to stop Nicky from moving into second base. He did a nice job of getting to the baseball. And another good day for Nicky Delmonico. So Dave Island goes to the mound, trying to settle down McCarthy. These are unearned runs, but runs nonetheless.
Everything with 2 out, nobody on. The error against Escobar, the single for Abreu, the Garcia double, the Delmonico double. And there's ball number 1 to Kevin Smith. We were talking about the base hit that was scored a hit. And in the Royals TV booth, Rex Hudler was very happy that Bob Rosenberg didn't give an error to Merrifield, and Rosie gives him the thumbs up. Rex pandering to the official scorer. Sitting next to noted boy band aficionado Ryan Lefevre, the play-by-play announcer in the Kansas City booth.
And the son of Jim Lefevre.
But even more importantly, an encyclopedia of boy band knowledge.
Really?
Ryan Lefevre,
Oh,
yes.
good.
Feels like NSYNC isn't a real boy band. Backstreet Boys and New Kids all the way, according to Ryan. Seriously? Actually, that's a thing. 1-2 for Smith. Fouled away. Ryan claims that he was in the booth with you and Harry.
He was. Yes.
Back in your Cub days.
Seemingly just yesterday.
He was there on spring break or something, wearing trashy clothes, and Harry yanked him into the shot to do a stand-up with you.
Well, his father was managing the team and suggested that Ryan come up.
Ryan starts to dress better now, evidently, right around today or so.
Well, he had a desire to eventually wend his way into the booth, and he was able to accomplish that for a long time now.
Two and two for Smith. And that's strike 3 to end the inning. To the 8th we go. Sox get 3, 12-6 Kansas City.
12-6 game. Royals about hit our Sox 15-9. It has not been a pretty ball game with 3 errors. And there you see 4 spots in the 2nd, 3rd, and 6th. Great deals are waiting for you now at your local Honda dealer. That is our Honda game summary. And so Alan Hansen stays in the game to play 3rd base. That sends Saladino over to 1st base.
Yolmer Sanchez getting the day off, and a new pitcher for the Sox.
Brad Goldberg comes on for the 8th time, and there you look at the numbers.
For Gregory Infante today, 2 innings, 3 hits, and 1 run allowed. He struck out 3. Two and out to Cuthbert. Good change. So 3-1 as Cuthbert lays off. Cheslor Cuthbert, 2 runs scored today, a sacrifice fly as well. Three and 2. Minnesota and Cleveland have both won today, so Kansas City pressed into the need to salt this one away to not lose a game as Goldberg walks Cuthbert to start the 8th.
In the 2nd inning, our Danley defensive play comes from Alcides Escobar. Great running catch. And most important thing for the Royals, no collision in center field. When you think garages, think Danley's 773 garages.
And now a meeting as Kevin Smith goes out to talk to Goldberg. Toronto beat Pittsburgh today 7-1. Every time you think you get a feel for somebody that's going to get hot in the National League Central, they either come back to the pack or somebody vaults them. And the Pirates are now in 4th place with St. Louis tied with the Cubs coming into play today. The Cardinals are trailing late 6-3 to Atlanta. Cubs are up 2-0 in the 4th. Cuthbert at first, Escobar the batter. Ball 3 from Goldberg. You mentioned Dallas Keuchel earlier and how the Astros need him to pitch up to his potential and where he was before the injury. He's in the 7th, leading 2-1 for the Astros against the Rangers today as Goldberg walks a 2nd batter. It's Escobar.
And here comes Don Cooper. And here comes the entire infield.
Sox do lead the league in
total number
people
of men on
per
the mound.
meeting.
Oh yeah. Oh, that's guaranteed.
2 on, nobody out, and Butera the batter.
Butera with 3 singles today. Continuing some pretty good hitting against our Sox. Selby Perez on the shelf. Drew Butera getting a whole lot more play.
Drew Butera going for some history here. He has never, dating back to 2011, had a 4-hit game in the majors. Now his 7th 3-hit game, but no 4-hit games. Had 2 of those 3-hit games this year against the Sox. One and 2, Goldberg to Butera with Merrifield next. It's going to be Whit Merrifield's 6th at bat, and he will have a chance for the cycle with a double, barring a triple play. Butera drops it in, and that is hit number 4 for the first time in Drew Butera's career.
Looked like Leary was going to have a shot at that, but it fell in front of him. So our Gigatime high-speed replay powered by Xfinity, the future of awesome, and it's been an awesome day for Whit Merrifield. That's his triple, leaving him a double shy of the cycle.
There's a strike to Merrifield. Just his 2nd season with Kansas City. Going for his 3rd 4-hit game of the year. In fact, he's got 2 4-hit games since July 29th. Saladino after it, and Avi is there as well to make the play and throw it in quickly and on target. Merrifield out, 1 away in the Kansas City 8th.
Avi got to it nicely and got the ball back in quickly. So the cycle for Merrifield, not to be, but it doesn't diminish his 3 hits. And congratulations from the fans on a 1-hop strike to the plate.
Looked like Avi wasn't going to stop doing that. Just go all the way down the line into the corner.
Good crowd today, in excess of 27,000.
Gordon a foul ball in his first pitch seen today. In for Lorenzo Cain, who was 2 for 5. 2 knocked in, a run scored, 2 strikeouts.
George Brett in 1990 against Toronto was the last Royal to hit for the cycle, and Merrifield came close.
Pete, there's a chance, depending on how this goes, that you could get another shot at this thing. Still 5 outs to get. Maybe.
Maybe. Hopefully that's not the case, but we'll see.
I tend to agree. 2 balls and a strike on Gordon. Alex Gordon, Midwest kid, decided to stay home with Kansas City. On that pitch, Engel was moving just about when the pitch started to come to the plate into right center field.
Gordon normally a pull hitter, but he wasn't going to pull that last pitch. Not with good movement and about 4 inches off the outside corner.
Cuthbert at third, Escobar at second, Butera at first. 2-2. 3-2. Payoff from Goldberg. Chopped foul. Good pitch. Low portion of the zone. Gordon stays alive.
Very good play by, looked like Salvi Perez.
He steals Abreu's glove.
And then on a one hopper right at him. Snags it nicely. And makes some friends.
3-2. On the ground, third base side. Hansen goes to second, and that's all they'll get. Run scores. Cuthbert makes it 13-6.
Didn't hit it hard, and really no chance for a double play.
So Gordon, the RBI, is 35th. And here is Brandon Moss. Nearly got hit. Royals have scored 16 twice this year. Most recently, the end of July in Detroit. Let's also hope that's not challenged today.
That would be nice.
Kansas City has a night game tomorrow, but a day game in the last game of the series. So back-to-back night games and a day game to finish off that series in Oakland. 3-0 on Moss. Sox will have two night games in Los Angeles before heading to Texas overnight. Three and 0. Green light?
No.
Maybe. Well, he might have, but he didn't swing, and the bases are loaded. Thank you for interjecting.
It was a late call, certainly, but effective nonetheless. And now you walk Moss to get to Melky. Normally not a great thing.
Bases loaded, 2 out. Look, for a while like this might be a game where you would see position player theater in the ninth on the mound, but I don't think that's going to stray that way.
No, I wouldn't think so.
Ball bounces away from Smith, and here comes Escobar. He is safe.
Brad Goldberg is contending that he never got to the plate.
And Escobar is down. If there is advancement, you got to account for it. So the wild pitch, but we'll see what the eventual result is here.
That ball just dove away from Kevin Smith, and he's thinking that he blocked him off the plate. Joe West doesn't see it that way, and we'll take a look from this angle. And he's got a point there. He did block him off the plate.
Do you think maybe a portion of the hip hit the plate, though?
I don't know. I don't think his hip came anywhere close to the plate.
I think you're right.
So
on that angle especially.
We'll have to see what they say in New York.
Will Escobar be safe or out? Looks like out.
He should be out.
Your second favorite baseball movie while we're at it?
Well, Bull Durham probably would be there. Watch it again. He knocks the front foot off the plate. That we know never got there. Then with Brad blocking the plate entirely, there's not one part of Escobar's body that gets the plate. In fact, I'm not sure if he's touched it yet. And he's sitting on the bench.
The only thing is it might be tough to say that a portion of his hip that came sliding through didn't touch the base, considering the call on the field was safe. You'd have to have enough evidence to say he didn't touch the base, which might be difficult. We'll see. Safe.
We have plenty of time to review that and take a look at it from a lot of different angles, including a couple that we don't have. But he was out at the plate.
Back we go to action. Ball and a strike on Cabrera. Great play by Goldberg.
It was a great play. Unfortunately, the two leadoff walks in the inning have both scored.
Melky on a line to center field for Angle, and that'll do it. Kansas City gets a run on the wild one, and then one more, 14-6.
Acquired. In the National League, his ERA was 3.05 and a 3-3 record. Since coming over, he's 1-0. That part's good, but the ERA 5.68.
Gave up 3 earned runs against the Cardinals a couple outings ago. There's out number 1. Moncada grounds out. Trevor Cahill, who also came over in that deal from San Diego. Is on the disabled list. But the idea was to get the bullpen guys, Buchter and Bauer.
Yeah, that's what they're really looking forward to shore up a spot that historically has been very strong, but this year not quite as strong as in years past for the Royals.
Strike to Garcia, who's 0 for 3.
The guy that just about everybody wanted from San Diego was Brad Hand, but nobody wanted to pay the price that they set for him.
Quick turn to first for Buchter, and 3 pitches to 2 outs. Here's Adam Engel. Sox swept the Astros, won the opener against Kansas City, and the Royals with a win yesterday, and what's looking like a win today, putting back-to-back series wins in jeopardy. One does graze Engel, so he's on with a 2-out hit by pitch. Leaves it for Anderson, who homered back in the 5th.
That started off the scoring, but for the onslaught of these Royals.
Sox next opponent, the Dodgers, scored 5 runs in the 4th today against the Padres. Justin Turner with his 16th home run, 3-run homer.
Turner's really started to heat it up.
Yasmani Grandal with a home run, his 15th. Both off of Luis Perdomo. Fouled away, 1-2. One and two. Engel at first and fouled away. Ball and 2 strikes on Anderson. Tim fouls it away again.
It's a battling at bat.
It is. Home run in the 5th for Anderson, part of a 3-run inning. One, two. Escobar at shortstop to first to get Anderson. Inning over. To the 9th we go. 14-6 Kansas City in the series finale. Ball one to Mike Moustakas here in the top of the ninth inning. Jason Benetti, Steve Stone, our entire crew. Thanks for joining us this lovely Sunday afternoon. Sox trailing 14-6. And ball two on Moustakas, who had a double yesterday and a run scored, and homered twice in the opener. 1 for 4 today with a run scored and a walk. Figured he'd let it rip on 2-0. He does, and Engel is there to track it down for out number 1. Kansas City right now at 500, trying to track down that second wild card spot, maybe and more. Sox have 7 left with the Royals and 8 with Minnesota, 4 with the Angels, 3 with the Rays. So you look, and that's a grand total of 22 games left for the Sox with contenders for that second wild card.
And a big 5-game series coming up against Minnesota here, including a doubleheader, which is a makeup.
That's a 4:10 start time, programming note. 4:10 start time. Sox and Twins in doubleheader game number 1 on Monday of next week. So 8 days from now, when Minnesota comes to town.
It's a Minnesota team that's a little short on pitching, but not on offense. They got that in abundance.
Told you about the Players Weekend jerseys that we're going to see in Major League Baseball in a couple weeks, with some of the nicknames that players will have on the back of their jersey. Jose's will say Mal Tiempo, among others, with the White Sox. But Miguel Sano's is pretty interesting. Evidently speaking to how loud he is in the clubhouse. His nickname is Boqueton, which means big mouth.
Oh,
when
good.
Translated.
There you go.
Big everything.
Yes, big power too.
3-1. Inside out swing to second for out number 2. Bonifacio to Moncada. And here comes Cuthbert.
Going for the elusive 1-2-3 inning for the second time in this game. Got to clean up Junior before you take him in the car. That's essential.
Don't get chocolate on the seats.
Trying not to, or the roof.
How would that play?
With an energetic youngster, very well.
Foul ball, 1 ball and 1 strike. My father once left a pizza on the roof and tried to drive home and bring the pizza back to the family.
My dad left a fiddler up there.
Oh, for some people, your jokes, they're going over my head, they say.
Yeah, I would think if you do go and pick up the pizza and leave it on the top of the car,
yeah,
odds are not good that it's getting back.
He got home, looked in the back
seat. Any semblance of shape.
Looked to the back seat, said, "Where? Oh, oh, jeez." Lovely thing about that is his kid's now a TV announcer, so he gets to tell other people during a White Sox game. It's a 1-2-3 inning in the ninth for Brad Goldberg. Sox will bat after this, 14-6. a Merck's cheese spread game card. Good for savings on delicious Merck's cheese in the deli or dairy case at your local grocer. Watching the White Sox and saving on Merck's cheese. Some fans have all the luck. Purchase your tickets today at whitesox.com or call 866-SOX-GAME.
A new pitcher coming in the ball game to wrap it up here in the bottom of the 9th inning. It's Neftali Feliz. On for the 49th time, he's been a busy man, although not a terribly effective one. 5.60 ERA, but save-wise, good. 8 of 9, and opponents hitting just .238.
He'll face Saladino first, then Hansen and Garcia in the Sox 9th after Kansas City scored 4 in the 2nd and 4 in the 3rd today to go along with 4 in the 6th. And don't underestimate the importance of the 4-run 6th inning, because the Sox had just put 3 on the old tote board in the 5th. Made it an 8-3 game, and Kansas City responded very well. Saladino takes ball 1 from Neftali Feliz.
There was a time when they thought he would be the Rangers closer for a whole lot of years, but it didn't work out that way.
Right now he's part of a 9-man bullpen for Kansas City, including 3 left-handers. Closed for part of the year with Milwaukee, Neftali Feliz. Last time out Thursday in St. Louis, Dexter Fowler touched him up for grand slam with the kitty cat on the field. Oh, that was Molina. I'm sorry. That was the other grand slam that the Cardinals had. 3-1. Now 3-2. You know it's a bad series when you gave up multiple grand slams.
They got swept home and home. I mean, they lost 4 straight to their rivals. Geographically, anyway.
That's tipped foul. We showed you the cat on the field in the Kansas City St. Louis series with the worker trying to pick up the cat and getting bit a couple times with the radio call. Mike Shannon and our old pal John Rooney. First thing Mike Shannon says, "There's a raccoon on the field." And he says, "No. It's a cat." But the laughter in the booth was rather infectious. Thank goodness the bite marks weren't. Ball 4 to Saladino to lead off the 9th.
I think the member of the grounds crew learned a very valuable lesson there.
Which was? There may be a couple.
Yeah, send somebody out to get the cat when it's loose.
So Alan Hansen, who pinch ran for Abreu in the 7th. What's the oddest animal you've ever seen on a baseball field?
Georgie Animal Steel.
Yeah. It's a person with a nickname.
Oh, okay. He was a wrestler, by the way.
That's true. He ate turnbuckles for a living. I've seen squirrels. I mean,
yeah, we've seen a few of those.
Ball to strike on Hansen. 14-6 Kansas City today. Well, this Royals team with 9 walks today, and if you look back to the beginning of this decade, since 2010, the Royals are last in Major League Baseball in walk rate. We told you they're last in baseball in walks this year, but this entire decade, the Royals are in last place. With some teams, you'd say, well, there's been so much turnover. But with this team, especially, the core has been at least rather similar. A lot of the same guys.
Well, I don't think it's exactly an organizational philosophy, but it appears to be that way.
Called strike 3. Hansen retired. You don't set out and say, don't walk, don't take first base for free, but if you're a free swinging team, it's the eventual result.
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to scout and then sign and develop guys who are very aggressive early in the count, very difficult to take that away from, especially with young hitters who don't want to get in that hole where the wipeout pitch will do just that. You want to hit a fastball early in the count. That's not the way to get a whole lot of walks, but can be very effective, as we've seen from this Kansas City club.
We talked about it earlier this season when Kansas City was out of town in another context, but Mike Moustakas has worked with Dale Swaim this year on simply being okay with swinging even earlier in counts. He felt like he was taking first pitch strikes too often before this year. Down the right field line and foul from Garcia, strike 2. Jason Vargas started for Kansas City and gave up 3 earned runs in 6 innings. Swing and a miss for strike 3 and 2 out in the 9th. A couple of kids down the line sound like they're having a screaming contest.
I think they
the
are.
Ballpark. Yeah,
it's a good thing to do late in the game.
Do you want to be the judge?
Yeah.
2 out for Nicky Delmonico. He's been on base every game of his major league career, 12 straight. 3 times today. That one gets away and pops high in the air. Saladino to second.
That goes a wild pitch.
By the way, along with the on base streak, Nicky Delmonico has a hit in 10 straight. So 12 straight on base, a hit in 10 consecutive.
Well, he was robbed of one that we thought was going to be at least a double in the 5th inning, but a good play by Lorenzo Cain ended that.
Delmonico drives it right center field. Gordon back at the warning track. He leaps and Alex Gordon secures a marvelous 27th out. Delmonico robbed a second time by a second center fielder.
Just a terrific play by Gordon, who came into this one late, but in time for some defensive heroics. As Gordon goes back, times it perfectly. Bear in mind, this is a Gold Glove left fielder who came in to take a home run away from Nicky Delmonico. And the Royals took the series, but a successful homestand at 4-2.
And we'll step aside. 14-6. We'll wrap it for you after this.